curtain bangs. Here we come. Hey everyone, I'm Becca. I am a licensed hairstylist and I make hair and beauty content on my channel for everyday life. If you're coming back, thank you so much. And if you are new here, welcome. I would love it if you subscribe to my channel and ring the bell for notifications for every time I post new videos. If you haven't yet, you can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok. All right, if you haven't noticed yet, my hair is wet. Why is it wet? Well, let me tell you, because I'm gonna show you how to cut your own curtain bangs at home. When I worked in the salon, I used to teach people how to actually trim their own bangs at home because it's annoying to have to go into the salon to get a bang trim. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody's got time for that. So I used to like to teach my clients how to do it themselves at home, and that's what we're gonna do today. A few weeks ago, I posted a video on how to style your curtain bangs, and I said you should subscribe because I might one day be posting a video about how to cut your own curtain bangs, and that is this video. So let's do it. Let's get to cutting our curtain bangs. Here is a list of all the things that you will need to cut your own curtain bangs. I will also leave links in the description. First, you're gonna start with your hair really wet, and then we're gonna finish the style dry. I personally like to cut my curtain bangs with a safety razor. If you feel more comfortable using shears, you can do that. But in this tutorial today, I'm gonna show you how to do it with a safety razor. I think is it a safety razor? I don't know. I don't know if this is called a safety razor. It's got the safety things on it, so I call it a safety razor. Anyway, there are a couple things with a razor. Okay, so a razor, you can actually cut off more hair than you are supposed to. So be very, very careful with your razor cuts. Another thing, when your hair is wet, you can also cut off way too much hair. So keep that in mind as you attempt to do this haircut yourself at home. Can't believe I'm telling a bunch of people to go do this. All right, so I'm gonna try and make this super easy for you because these actually aren't that difficult to cut, but it just can be really intimidating. So I'm gonna try and give you the easiest way to do this. So let's go. All right, so I got my comb and we are going to find our part. How do we find our part? Well, you can comb it forward wherever your hair starts to split. You can also comb it backwards. You can already see where it's starting to split in my hair, right there. Okay, so I do have grown out curtain bangs. You see how long they are? Ooh, that is not a bang anymore, okay? That's not, no, that's not a bang. Okay, so we have our part, and I can't part right down the middle because I have a widow's peak, and Lord knows that it's gonna be way too difficult to try and fight that. So I just go right to the right of it. So we have our part down the middle-ish. You can also do this on the side. It's not gonna give you the same effect with the curtainness, but you could do it. But I would say if you have a middle part or just off middle part, curtain bangs could work for you. And then we are going to section out all of the hair behind our ear and clip it back because you don't need it, it's gonna be in the way. So you take the big side with the big bristles on your comb and just kind of where you think it like goes above your ear. Obviously you can't like tell because you're not on the side of your head, but it's okay because you're not actually gonna cut all of this hair. But you just brush this in, brush this back. It creates a nice line. Do the same thing on this side. So it's like the end of the comb is just gonna, you push that on your scalp and go all the way until it goes behind your ear. Push that back. Let's try it again. And that's how you section there. So we're gonna clip all this back with my alligator clip. That is our first clipping. So then we are going to take this middle section right here. We're gonna section off like a little triangle. And one way to find out how far back your bangs could go is you put the comb on your forehead, right at you hold it right at your part, and then you rock it back. Some people can rock it back again, but that's not gonna work. Okay, so put it on your part, rock it back once. And that's where your bangs could go back into your hair. It's gonna feel intimidating because you're gonna think like, oh my gosh, that's so much hair. But once it's dry, it's not that much hair. It just feels like a lot when it's wet. So rock, right around there. I'm generous with that because right now I have like a shag haircut. I have a ton of layers in the front anyway. It's not that big a deal, but if you're someone with like really long hair and you don't want to like cut way too much off, do that rock. And always start with less before you cut more. Because you can always cut more hair, but once it's gone, it's gone. If you're feeling like nervous about this, okay, just call up your hairstylist and say, hey, I want you to cut me some curtain bangs. Can you squeeze me in for a bang trim? I'm sure they'll fit you in. So we got our little section of where our bangs can live. And all I'm doing is taking almost like a vertical section to just past my recession. This is your recession right here, right in the corner. It's kind of like where your hair starts to thin out. That's called your recession. You section it right past it and leave, sure I'm doing this right. Okay, and then we'll just clip those guys out of the way. So you see my triangle section right there. So you're doing it from the point where you rocked it back to like the corner of your temples almost. So you can see, look, it's all my old curtain bangs. Great. So then from here, you're gonna find your part and we're just gonna take the tiniest little tiny section. So one way to ensure more safety for your hair is to clip all the things that you're not cutting back. So you're gonna need a lot of clips, but it'll ensure that you don't cut too much, like more than you should. My hair is already starting to curl, so I need to re-wet it. Another thing, if you're cutting with a razor, you need to make sure that your hair is really wet. All right, so my teeny tiny little triangle section. Oh, you're so cute. And what I'm gonna do is with my teeny tiny little triangle section, I'm going to create a guide. This guide is going to be where the start of my length is, and then it's gonna go way longer from there. I wanna do both of these sides at the same time so that I know what the length should be on each side. So I'm gonna grab my razor. I'm looking in the mirror and I kind of want it to start to like kind of feather away from my face, kind of close to my nose. You don't need to pull it super tight. There's no need for that. Curtain bangs are gonna be kind of wispy away from your face. So you don't want to do that because you'll also pull it farther than where it lives, because hair, once it's dry, it springs up a little bit, right? So I've seen that before on like TikTok and stuff. Like, don't do that. Okay, you got a nice little loose, but tight enough that the blade of the razor will be able to cut it. So then we're just gonna, we did it. So we're gonna do the same on this side, let it bounce back a little bit, and then we're gonna just, all right, so now what I'm gonna do is put back my one guide on the one side. We're gonna work from one side to the other, all right? My hair is like curling so much right now. We're just gonna take probably about 1 inch back. We're gonna take a little bit more, still triangled. What we're gonna do, so you see there's our guide. The farther on this side you take it, the longer it'll be over this way, right? So as it comes back, it's gonna feather out longer. It's gonna feel like you're cutting off so much hair, but you're not, because you're pulling it away, right? So the distance that this travels, it's gonna have to go back. And if you wrap it a little bit around your forehead, it'll help give it a nice little poof on the other side. Okay, so we see our guide. Okay, I'm gonna pull it taut because I can't cut it over there. I can't see it. So it's nice and taut, and my fingers right here are pinching my hair pretty tightly. And then I'm gonna bring it back and cut it. I don't recommend, unless you can be sure that your hands are gonna stay nice and tight and the hair isn't gonna move in your fingers, don't bring it back. Just get your shears and point cut this way. But if you know you can keep these tight and it's not gonna move, then you can bring it back. Actually, you know what? Now I'm nervous. I'm psyching myself out. So nice and flat. Gonna find my guide. Where is it? Where's my guide? There it is. Okay, here's my guide under there. I don't know if I can see it. It's right there. Ready? We're just gonna cut. Get the rest of it. Okay. Bring it all over here. Nice and taut. There, see? It's not that much the second time. I thought I was gonna do it with the razor, but I lied. Joke's on you. But you can start to see. Do you see that angle? And then when we dry it with our round brush, it's gonna go back and it's gonna flow and it's gonna be beautiful. All right. So then we're coming over here. Probably gonna have to re-wet it. So again, we're gonna just take about 1 inch back another triangle section, leave this hair behind our ear, move it over to this side, find our guide. Do we see our guide right there? It's right there. Pull it just over my forehead, over a little bit, nice and taut. My fingers are pinching the hair so it doesn't move when I move it back away from my face, right? So if it was loose, then you're gonna mess up how you cut the hair and it's not gonna layer right. And so you wanna make sure that as it's pulled across your forehead, these fingers are pinching the hair nice and tight. Okay, so we see my guide and we're gonna cut along the straight line with my guide. Okay, nice and tight. We're gonna point cut because that will create a softer line for when it's dry. Over, probably just over to the hairline where my guide is at. Pull it nice and tight, find my guide where my cut is. And not too much to cut there. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so then we're gonna pull this down and I'm just gonna blend it, like angle it into the rest of my hair. And then once it's dry, we're gonna do a little bit more texturizing so that it lays right as you blow dry it out. So with this, we're just gonna take, I don't know, it's different. It's gonna be different for everybody, but essentially you can see where it's going. We're just gonna lightly glide down. You're not cutting too much off. It's just to like blend it with the rest of your hair. Right, so you can see kind of where it drops off. I'm gonna take my razor, and there's the end. Just gonna blend it in so that when it dries, it's all blended together. So I'm not gonna finish blow drying my hair because it'll just dry natural and it'll be nice and wavy and kind of all like fun and sexy. But you can already see like it's starting to give that like curtain effect. And you can see where our small little guide starts and how it blends in with the rest. And this is why I recommend starting wet and then finishing dry, because you can actually see where the hair is laying when you're finishing the style. So you can see kind of how it swoops, how this one has a little bit more of a gradient. So I'm gonna work on this side a little bit more. It doesn't need much, but just a little bit more so that it has a little bit more of a swoopiness. If that blow dry went by too fast, make sure to subscribe because I will be posting a future video about how to actually round brush blow dry your own hair. So stay tuned for that. So I'm actually quite pleased with how it's looking already, but I like how this one is like starting a little bit higher. So I think I need to cut just a little bit more on this side. So I'm going to, do you see how this is just a little bit longer than this? That's my problem. So we're gonna take it, my fingers are nice and tight. When I pulled it across, we're gonna cut off this little corner. Pull. Point cut. My eyes are probably a little janky right now. I feel like all hair cutting is cutting off corners that make your hair look heavy. All right, so I'm just gonna check my angles here. And because I have a shag haircut, like all of this is my layer back here. I actually just trim it because I feel like it's a little too long. Ooh, look at that. Yes, girl. Woo! Hello. Oh. And this is why curtain bangs are great, because they just automatically make you feel like you did something with your life. You know, it's like, I got curtain bangs, I'm a millennial, I'm here to roll. So the next thing I'm gonna show you how to do, if you have really thick hair, I'm gonna show you how to point cut some weight out of your bangs. So this side for me is a little heavier. So as I pull up my hair, you can see where it gets kind of thinner. That's where my recession is. I don't really have a lot of hair there, but do you see where it's a little thicker, right? So you see that and you see that. Those are parts that I could, if I wanted to, take out some weight. So you're gonna take your hair, make sure your fingers are nice and secure. So your fingers are nice and secure, and you're gonna take the scissors straight up into that heavier section. Just straight up, little tiny snips. Don't go crazy. If you're gonna go crazy, get out of here. Just little tiny snips. You don't need a lot. If it starts to feel like you're not getting anywhere, you can angle it just a little bit. Okay, don't go like this, just like the tiniest little boop, boop, boop. Another way you can do this, a little controversial, you can do it with your razor. You can take your razor and go into like your heavier sections and just lightly take out some weight. And it's gonna help give you a more feathery look. Let me check my thickness of my section. You can do a little bit of weight management. So we're just gonna go straight up in. I'm gonna blur that line. This is a little extra. This is how you get that salon style curtain bang. We're just blurring that line. These are the extra little things that I used to love to do to people's hair because they'd be like, oh my gosh, no one can cut my hair like you do. Tiniest little bit. Just gonna cut up in. Now don't go crazy here. This is where you need to know when to stop, right? Because you could just keep going and be like, I don't know. You can always just stop, live with it for a couple days, and then come back. If you're like, this piece isn't laying how I want it to, or this piece needs to do this, you can always come back. Once that hair is gone, it's gone, okay? You gotta grow it back out. So my recommendation would be cut to a point where you're like, okay, I can work with this. It looks like the style that I want. I'm gonna live with it for a couple of days and then I'll come back to it if I feel like it needs a little bit more. Because you can go crazy and cut your bangs up to here and then you got a whole different style going on and then you have to learn how to style different kind of bangs. We don't want that. Ain't nobody got time for that, okay? One thing that I just love about curtain bangs on myself is I feel like the bottom half of my face is like wider. And so this kind of creates different angles. It kind of pulls me back here. So it kind of lifts up my cheeks here. It's like a facelift with my hair, right? So it brings my face back and then this all just falls down. It's like, gives a different vibe, you know? And I love it. And it's just easy. It dries really nicely. And all I have to do is like style this part and then the rest of it, it's a little frizzy right now, but it'll kind of calm down after it dries. But the rest of it can just air dry and I feel like, you know, it's just a relaxed, nice on-the-go hairstyle. So a couple things to note about my hair right now is I do have kind of like a semi-shag haircut. So a lot of this hair back here, it's really layered to help with my natural curl. And I just also like my hair better when it's really layered. So that plays a role into how my curtain bangs are laying on my face. So if you have like really straight hair back here and then you do a curtain bang, it might not have this part right here because this is all playing with my layers that are back here, but you'll still have the same kind of flow effect. It'll just be a different style with the rest of your hair. I still think it would look good. If you're like a little hesitant because the rest of your hair doesn't have like a lot of wave or a lot of layers in it, a curtain bang can still look really good with long hair. It just might not look exactly like mine does because of where my layers are in the rest of my haircut. Some things that are gonna help with your curtain bang style is to make sure you're putting like a hold product, a hold spray, a mousse in your hair before you dry and style them. That'll help maintain that nice flow away from your face. And if you want to watch an in-depth way of how to style your curtain bangs, I'll make sure to leave a link for that video in the description below. I'm just gonna finish this off with a little texture spray. If you don't know texture spray, you do need to know. You need to. Gives it a nice little grip. Ooh. This is the IGK Beach Club texture spray. Still one of my faves. I haven't been able to replace it because I just can't find anything that I like. This has amazing hold and it also has amazing smell. Gives me nice grip too. So like if I'm going on a date and I put my texture spray in before I leave and then like through the date I like look in the mirror in the bathroom and my hair's getting flat and I'm like, oh gross, I don't want flat hair. So I just go like this and it kind of reactivates. Look at that. It like reactivates the product. Some nice volume. Oh, my hair was fine before, but now with texture in it, come on somebody. Okay, so then the last step would be hit it with some hairspray. My little trick, spray underneath. I'm kind of getting bored with this hairspray. This is Pureology Soft Finish Hairspray. Has a really nice shine, but I'm just kind of getting bored of it. So I'm gonna be trying out some new hairsprays. Drop a comment below if there's any hairsprays you want me to try. I'd be happy to take a look. Another trick, spray some hairspray on your fingers. So that's it. That's your tutorial on how to cut your own curtain bangs at home. If you have any questions, if I went through something too quickly, make sure to leave a comment. I try really hard to answer all of the comments. And this also would be a great video to kind of have on your counter in your bathroom as you're going to cut those curtain bangs. Just press pause, press play, press pause. Just do it with me while you're cutting them. And I promise you, you can do it. You're gonna like be so nervous, and it's gonna feel like so liberating when you just do it. Your hair will grow back if you mess up. Always start longer, so maybe don't start at your nose like I did today. Definitely don't start at your eyebrows if this is your first time ever cutting your hair, because I would say the majority of people who start at their eyebrows ends up right here, because don't do that. Start like around your nose area and then work your way up if you want them shorter. But your guide is really gonna be at your eyebrows or towards your nose. You're not gonna want your guide like way up here. Don't do that. You're gonna end up with like not curtain bangs. If you like this content, make sure to leave a like, send it to a friend. And you know your girlfriend's been talking about getting some curtain bangs, send this video to her. You can text it to her. If you're looking for more content to watch, any product recommendations, I will leave a video right here. And if you want to shop all of the products that I mentioned in this video that I recommended, you can shop all my faves in that link right there, or subscribe right there, or I'm not gonna point anymore. I'm gonna say goodbye. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.